Here in this area, you can see quite clearly how the tributary of Ormus flows through the door into valley and forge a very single regarding trails. This pattern forms in the area of the alternating bands of variable resistance. And by that, I mean that the bands of rock that are very strong and resistant and erosion alternate with bands of rock that we in a horizontal frame fold and outcropping appears. So, as I said, as a whole, these patterns are dictated by the structure and relief around. The kind of rocks in which developed the structure pattern of the folds, and average will usually determine a drainage system. However, I should also mention that the drainage pattern can occasionally appear to be well out of sync with the landscape. And this can happen when the storm flows over older structures that have fallen covered by erosion or when the stream keeps origin rest where the rocks are lifted. So when that pattern appears to be contrary to the expected course of the stream. But I'm sure you understand the basic drainage system, so I don't plan to trick you with this question about the exceptional patterns. But I expect you to know that the exception to the pattern can occur when geological events influence them. Drawing is a very basic art form. It's appealing because it can be used to very quickly recognize ideas that an idea may be envisioning. So, visualize for just to remember certain moments of inspiration and maybe use it for more detailed work later on. Okay. Usually, such sketches allow the artist to visualize the proportions and the shape with much attention to detail. So these images can be used by painters, architects, sculptors, and any else really. And learning renderings when a huge image might be more difficult to conceive of its entirety. Or a sketch with just one face in the crowd can allow the artist to focus on creating just that photo's image. So in many artist studios, the counter final feeling of the sculpture take form. And this gives us insight into the process, as well as the opportunity to see changes from the images at the beginning in the image of the finished work. It's rare, in fact, for an artist to permit the material to begin a piece of art. And some painters, for example, even sketch onto the surface of the canvas before applying to the pigments. Now, artists are especially prone to sketches because, of course, their buildings are so large that an image smaller scale is necessary to the imagination and the implementation of such a project. So, this study becomes the basis for future work. And again, this is very interesting as a record of the creative process. Okay, so far? Okay. Drawing follows several besides as their primary reference. For centuries, artists have used drawing as a traditional method of education. By copying the good work, especially of the old masters, aspiring artists could learn a lot about proportion, how to capture light and shadow, and so forth. In fact, so some artists who later achieve recognition still continue to use this practice to hone their skills. Almost another, as is often the case when a work was originally created in another medium, like a sculpture paint recreated in on drawing. Many examples of drawing of Michelangelo sculpture were recreated by well-known artists. One that comes to mind is the study Michelangelo's Bound Thrive by Edda Gas. The original by Michelangelo was a marble sculpture that was about 7 feet in height. A small drawing was made in a sketchpad. In any case, the study is also considered a masterpiece, or on a small scale, of course. But additional purpose might be served by the medium for drawing. Well, let's remember the photography is original new art form, so prior to use of photograph to record historical events, A quick drawing by an artist was about the only way to create real-time visual account of an important moment. Visual impression might be rendered later. It will be based on memory and not on just actual observation. Probably the most often cited example of a sketch that presents an historical record would be the small drawing of Marie Antoinette as she was taken to the guillotine in a cart through the streets of Paris. Jacques Derrida sketched this famous drawing on a piece of paper about the size of the palm of his hand, and the artist reported it is still important even in modern times when photography isn't possible. For example, when just involved with camera in the control. Okay, to review. We've talked about the three functions for drawing as a visual aid for the artist to complete future work, as a method of education for aspiring artists or even practiced artists, and as a way to report event. But the sketchbook has other possibilities. Sometimes the drawing is a final execution with the end. Picasso produced hundreds of drawings in, well, every conceivable medium, but it's in pencil and crayon. I find it very interesting that people did so much of this kind of work, drawing, I mean, in his last 3 years. Some critics argue that he was just laughing at the which was willing to pay hours some name on it, and clearly drawing can be executed in a short period of time. But others, as critics, they feel as I do. The field was drawing because it was so basic, and because it was so spontaneous, and so much fun. And also, think about how difficult it really is to recruit drawing with a few lines and no opportunity to recreate the original. Is a painting, is a remodeling the clay or changing the building materials or any of them stand for a revision of the finished artistic work that artists have at disposal. Drawing. Elevated the finished piece. It must be done with confidence, a high degree of creativity and mastery of the art form. In a way, it harkens back when someone knows has stood a finger on the drawing on it. Maybe he picked up the stone and rolled the cave. Okay, so as a first assignment, I wanted to make a couple of sketches yourself. I'm not going to grade them. This is the studio art class. I just want to do a few basic strokes to capture an image. You can do the first one in pencil, crayon, ink, chalk, or even charcoal, or whatever you like. Then I want to use the same sketch in a different medium. So if we do a face in pencil, I want you to do the same face but in chalk or crayon. Bring them to class next week and we'll continue our discussion with drawing. But we'll talk more about the material that is used to produce drawing and we'll refer to your request as examples.